Welcome to This Week in Drag Racing with your host, Don O'Neill.
This Week in Drag Racing is a PDRA episode. Mountain Motor Pro Stock standout Johnny Plucino stops by from Long Island. We're also going to go to the other end of the age category to Nick Shirkey, Junior Dragster Champ in 2020. Stay tuned. This Week in Drag Racing, we're going to take a trip down the passion highway with an individual who, with his family. His dad has instilled desire, aggressiveness, discipline, competitiveness, everything that goes along what needs to be in the head when you slide the helmet down and climb in the car. So we're going to bring on this week three-time champ from Long Island, New York, Johnny Plucino. Johnny, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's the off season. We're all busy. What's Johnny and Dad and the volunteer crew doing in Long Island, New York in this off season right now?
We're just counting down days right now. Luckily, we don't have too much work to do to the program over the winter. Just going to check everything. Just go over the car, go over everything. The motor's still with us. We recently got it freshened at the end of last year, and we're really happy with how things are running. So we're just going to keep our heads down, get everything cleaned up, fixed up, give everything a once-over, and get ready for 2021.
Well, Johnny, most race teams are going through the refurb, if you will, or the reset in all of their equipment and their operation. And a lot of pros, we don't talk about the haulers in the behind-the-scenes equipment. I mean, is there as much attention to detail and focus on fixing all of that to prepare yourself moving forward in 2021? Or is that one of those things where it's just around the clock process?
Yeah. So, I mean, you want to try and handle the maintenance before it handles itself, right? So you want to go ahead and do the trailer brakes and leaf springs and generator service before it breaks. You don't want to be dealing with a failing generator at the racetrack when you're trying to race. That's one thing that my dad has said for a long time. The worst thing that you could do is go to the racetrack and be fixing stuff on the rig. When you're already got a race car to contend with, that's giving you a hard time probably, right? So you want to do the best you can to be ahead of the maintenance. This winter in the beginning, we first got back right away. Dad and I, we got the trailer cleaned up, waxed, new brakes on it, things like that, leaf springs, generator service, compressor service. So all the stuff that isn't highlighted, but there's a lot of behind the scenes work that has to go on in order for us to get to the racetrack, to work on the car, keep our heads focused on that and go win rounds.
Well, now you got the discipline or the structure put to you for racing at a very young age. You started out in junior dragsters, correct? So I'm hoping that I've got a lot of dads and moms that are sitting at home with their young kids that are thinking, man, maybe I need to get my kid involved in drag racing. Talk directly to a mom and dad right now and give them two things that should shove them to try to get their kid and their family involved in the world of drag racing.
Well, for me as a kid growing up, I loved it before I was even able to run a junior dragster. I loved racing as it was. I just loved watching it on TV. My dad did it. I loved everything about it. So I had that passion. But what it did for me is it gave me motivation to do well in school. It gave me, some friends at the racetrack. It gave me a really, really good close bond with my dad growing up. It instilled certain lessons in me that some of them came from my dad and some of them came from racing together. For example, not being a sore sport, learning how to win and lose. There's a lot of things, competition in general, how to handle it. You're a young kid, you don't necessarily have the maturity and ability to handle certain things, and you learn it. So there's a lot of really good lessons that you could learn from racing. But the most important thing to me was just growing up at the track with my friends, and most important with my dad, doing everything together and building that strong relationship to what we have now. Because those years of that has came to the point we are now. He's my best friend, my hero, and we do this together. And we may not agree on everything at the racetrack all the time, but we work it out. We do a good job together, and that's why we've been able to be successful, in my opinion, because we both love what we do. We're both competitive, and we make it work.
So let's fast forward a couple decades. Now we're in the premise, the spotlight of winning and being a 3-time world champ. What is it between you and your dad that keeps you guys going and chasing with that same desire as you were instilled with as you started as a junior dragster?
Well, I'm just an extremely competitive natured person. I have a ton of fire and passion to win. You're only as good as your next race, in my opinion. Not your last race, your next race. So you got to keep working, moving forward. You can't be stuck on the past. Look, at the end of the day, I'm gonna retire one day from racing or not be able to do it anymore financially, or whatever the case may be. And I'll look back, and then I'll be able to look at all those memories and look at what I was able to accomplish. But right now, you got to keep forging forward. I still want to win, probably more than I wanted to last year. It doesn't go away, that fire. And I guess, maybe one day that fire will go away. I can't picture it going away ever, because I just love it so much. It drives me. It drives me in life. It drives me at the racetrack. And, it's not work when you love what you do as much as I do. And to do it together with your family and people who love to do it as much as you do and love to win as much as you do, it's just a great feeling. You go through those long tows to the racetrack. You go through those nights where you're working on stuff all throughout the night. And then when you turn on that win light the next day and celebrate with your guys and have a beer in the winner's circle or something like that, it's just, there's really no feeling like it.
So what would Johnny Plucino be doing if he wasn't driving a race car?
I don't know, man. A lot of my life is centered around, drag racing. It's who I describe myself as. I'm a drag racer, right? That might not be my full-time profession. I work for an insurance company. That's what I do. But who is Johnny Pluchino? He's a competitive drag racer from Long Island, a kid who had a dream when he was younger to follow in his dad's footsteps and become a drag racer and someone who was successful in the sport. And that's what I've worked towards. So that's who I am as a person. That's how I define myself. But what would I do without it? I don't know. I like sports. I don't know. I feel like I'd be somewhat lost. If you took me out of drag racing, there'd be a piece of me that's gone. I wouldn't be myself.
Well, I can excuse me, excuse me. I can totally relate with that, right? Because it's what does drive you to go to the ends of the earth. That being said, though, when you walk away from the sport, what do you want people to remember about Johnny Plucino and his family?
That we, together with the passion, the competitive drive, we were able to accomplish a lot against some big teams just because we have fire and heart. So the heart that myself, my dad, and my crew guys have. My crew guys have as much heart in this as we do, maybe more. That together as a small team was able to accomplish, and I hope at the end we could say this, was able to accomplish, more than some big teams with hired crews and, bigger operations and things like that. So with the help of my team, and that includes my sponsors, we all come together and we were able to overachieve. That's what I want. I want to be able to be one of the best to ever do this. I know that's something you could say now and hope for. It's a long-term goal, and I understand I have a long way to go to be that. But if you're not shooting for the stars, what are you shooting for? In my opinion, you want to be the best. That's just how I am as a competitive person. So hopefully one day when this is all wrapped up, they look back and say, man, those guys worked really hard to accomplish what they accomplished, and they had heart. That's really all I can ask for.
Well, Let's say that we're going to take that heart and we're going to turn it up to 11. We're chasing a world championship in PDRA, but that elusive record book is still out there. That first 3-second run in a Mountain Motor Pro Stock car. Where is that on the bar, on the checklist? We all go through it as racers. We set goals in the off season for the coming into the next season. We want to finish in the top 10. We want to have some race wins. We don't want a red light. We want to, we have all these goals, right, that we instill in our kids to set goals and drive. What's number 1 and number 2 goals on Johnny Pluchino's list for 2021 in PDRA competition?
1A and 1B I'm going to go with, because I don't know exactly. It's scary to say this because I always would figure goal number 1. Look, goal number 1 is really always going to be safe, and to keep everything in one piece at the end of the season so we can continue next year, right? For a team like us, that's always going to be goal 1. But other than that, my top priorities, I don't know which one comes first right now. It's kind of scary to say, is going to be either a championship or that 3-second run. That 3-second run means a lot. I never thought anything would trump a championship, but that 3-second barrier, it's not like it's a 6:20 barrier or a 6:30 barrier or a 4:10 or a 4:0 barrier. It's that 3-second barrier. That's a big one. I don't know that drag race is going to see that many more second barriers, and that's one of the big ones. And actually aspirated pro stock car to eclipse that in the 8th mile, and we're working really hard towards getting that done. Us, John Kazi Racing Engines, Ram Clutches, and everyone on the strutmasters.com team, we were really focused on getting that done. But I do really want to win championship again. I don't want to peel that number 1 off after this year. And we're going to try and do both. Look, you can do both. That would be one hell of a season. I guess it's really hard to top our 2020, but I would sacrifice some race wins for that 3-second barrier.
So 3-second barrier, and you don't have any race wins, and you don't win the world championship. You still got a smile on your face going into 2022?
Yeah, I have a smile on my face, but I'd rather smile bigger with a championship.
Johnny, tell everybody at home where they need to follow you in 2021 as you travel the country with your all-volunteer crew and your pops as you're out there chasing a world championship in the 3-second zone in PDRA competition.
Well, you can find us most importantly on Facebook, Johnny Plucino or Pluchino Racing on Facebook. Follow us there for sure. And give my sponsors a follow. They promote us as well, and you'll see a lot of content there as well. Strutmasters.com is our main partner. We can't do this without them. NGK spark plugs, Precision Racing Suspension, John Kazi Racing Engines. In my opinion, the premier engine builder on the planet, just does an excellent job, and has given us a lot of ability to run with some people that have a lot invested in this sport. Ram Clutches, Hoosier Tire, Book Racing Carburetors. These are all companies that team up with us and get us to the next level. So give everyone a like if you don't mind, and follow us. And we're going to do some pretty cool stuff in 2021. Our team wears our heart on our sleeve, and we go out there and we race with a lot of fire. And follow along. We're going to try and set some records. We're going to try and win some races, and we'll talk about it.
Well, Johnny, thank you for instilling a little bit of fire and passion into our folks at home, and we look forward to seeing you out on the road in 2021. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
This week in drag racing, the show is excited to bring in Nick Shirkey, 2020 PDRA Junior Dragster Champion. Nick, thanks for coming into the show today.
You're welcome.
All right, Nick, so you're 16 years old. How long have you been racing?
Well, I started when I was 8, and at the time I started, that was the earliest that you could start.
Got a pretty strong resume as you're already a champion in the PDRA series.
Yeah.
So 4 out of 6 finals in 2020, correct?
Yes.
How often did you race in 2020?
Yeah, COVID kind of messed up our whole racing schedule. We definitely didn't race as much as we usually do, but I would say with the 6 PDRA racing events, we probably did about 20 events.
And it's
Yeah,
family, right? You, mom, dad, brother,
and my
sister, what do we
brother.
got going on?
Yeah, it's me, my dad, and my brother.
So mom stays home and cheers from afar?
No, she comes with us.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure we didn't leave mom out there. You know, somebody's got to be in there to keep everybody in line, and it's typically the mom. I know my wife keeps me in line, so I got to figure that your mom's over there keeping you in line.
Yeah.
16 years old, you've been racing for 8 years. I got moms and dads, I got teenage kids, young kids sitting at home watching Nick Shirkey, world champion in PDRA junior dragster racing. Tell them why they need to get involved in drag racing and the junior dragster ranks.
It's really it's one of the best family things that you can do in my opinion. I hunt and fish and just nothing compares to drag racing. It's an adrenaline. It'll take you down at times, but when you get back up, it's even better, and it really helps you bond with everybody.
You're in college right now at age 16. I got to think that we had some sort of homeschooling or something that was going on to so that we can spend 20 weeks out of the year on the road racing.
Yeah, my parents have always pushed me to do my best, and when we're back at home, it's you're working as hard as you can to be able to go out them 20 days. Because on a PDRA racing event, we usually leave on Wednesday and don't come back until Monday. So in between the races, you got to grind.
So 8 years, world champion 2020. I'm in college. I'm 16 years old. What are we looking to accomplish in the next couple of years?
Really, whenever somebody asks me what I want to be when I grow up, I just say I want to be happy. The money will come, everything else will come. I just want to do something that I love to do.
I had a friend of ours that we asked him, he's a multi-time world champion in the NHRA top fuel ranks. And we asked him one time, we said, when you leave the sport and you leave this life, what do you want to be known for? And he instantly said, I want to be known that I was a great dad. Well, he's getting ready to go into the Hall of Fame in 2021, and that's Larry Dixon. And so for you to be 16 years old talking about, I'm not worried about money, I just want to be happy. Let's flip that table around at you. Now I'm going to tell you, hey, Nick, you're going to be happy, but you're not going to be a race car driver. Are you okay with that?
I want to say yes, but no.
I love it. I love it. Right there. We cut through all of it, and we want to be a race car driver. All right, that's what we want to talk about. Where does Nick want to go? What racing aspirations does Nick have on his TV screen that he's trying to accomplish?
I would like to be in the elite top dragster field, and then after doing that, I would like to go to a door car and then work my way up in a door car.
It's way cool going fast in a door car. What does your family want to do with Nick?
I've got a Race Tech dragster that we bought a couple years back, and we've been testing with that, ever since we bought it. And this year I'm going to start driving it, not full time, but part time.
Where do you typically hang out if you're not out on the road going to PDRA races?
Virginia Motorsports Park.
All
The
right.
Franklins and Tyler, they make it feel like home.
Well, those are all good people without a shadow of a doubt. Do you have a life outside of racing?
Yeah, hunting season just ended, but we've been hunting all winter, and then on the summer, whenever we're not racing, we go fishing.
Now, are these still family events? Everybody in the family goes, or Nick's throwing his fishing pole in the back of a little Ford pickup truck and going out to find the river?
The hunting fishing's more me, my mom, me, my brother, my dad. My mom gets seasick and she doesn't really like the hunting thing.
Okay, Nick, I want to clue you in on something. Like throwing your mom under the bus, tell everybody in the world that she gets seasick. It's probably not going to bode very well for you the next time you need somebody to load the fridge up in the motorhome. Is social media important to you, or is it something that you're just not really into? You're still doing your own thing?
We don't have any racing accounts. My mom and my brother and I all have personal social media accounts, but we're not real big on it.
There's nothing wrong with that. Do we have companies that help the Shirkey family out in their racing adventures?
No.
No. So what do you do to earn mom and dad's bank account access to be able to go out here and race? Because, I mean, everybody at home knows that racing costs money. And so what is it that Nick's doing to make sure that mom and dad don't turn off the faucet to go to races in 2021?
I definitely help out a lot. I think I always go with my dad to work. My dad is a boat mechanic, and I always go help him out.
But it sounds like you're getting a little bit of a mechanical background. What are you focused on in college?
I'd like to be a real estate broker eventually. I got to go through being an agent for a while, and then I'd like to be a broker.
Like to be a broker. So, okay, I got to ask. So what's your mom do for a living?
She's an ELL teacher, so she teaches the English language learners at elementary school.
Okay. And your dad's a mechanic.
Yeah.
And you just told me that you want to be a real estate broker. How did that happen? Somebody in your family that you know that's a real estate person, you're like, man, that'd be cool. I think I want to do that job.
No, I've just always really liked real estate.
All right. So put your thinking hat on. You're a race car driver. What is it from racing that you can take over to apply to being a real estate broker?
That's a good question.
I told you, Nick, that it wouldn't be a hard interview. I swear to you, it wouldn't be a hard interview.
I don't know.
See, Nick, these are the kinds of things that will keep people up at night.
Just thinking.
Just thinking. All right, I'm not going to put you on the spot for that. Tell me what your goals for 2021 are.
I'd like to defend the Pro Junior Dragster World Championship.
You'd like to, or you're going to?
Yeah, we're going to give it our best.
Okay. All right. Now, that being said, you said you've been messing around with a Race Tech Dragster from Russ Farmer in the group. Where are you going to dip your toe in getting your experience in a big size car?
VNP.
Okay. So you're going to have a notebook for that place, won't you?
Yeah. We went to do the Frank Hawley drag racing school at VNP over this year, but it got rained out after the first pass. So we're going to maybe do that next year.
If you're going to learn from somebody, he has educated many world champions. Tell everybody, if they want to send you money and try to help your mom not be seasick while you go fishing, how do they reach out to the Shirkey family?
On Facebook, my mom's Facebook is Kim Donnie Shirkey, or my Facebook is Nick Shirkey.
All right. Well, Nick, I thank you very much for coming in, hanging out, trying to get some more junior dragster racers to come up in and fill in the slots as you start to climb the ladder in the PDRA ranks. We wish you the best of luck in 2021. And who knows, maybe we'll have you back as you're a two-time world champion in the junior dragster ranks.
Let's hope.
All right, Nick, take care and have a good season.
All right, see ya.
This week, family was the total focus of the episode. Johnny Plucino and his dad, his band of brothers, as they travel the country chasing greatness in mountain motor pro stock. Nick Shirkey, mom, dad, grandparents, everybody involved as his career is taking off. One thing is definitely apparent in these two individuals, that family was their foundation and is what motivates them to continue to chase the dream in the world of drag racing. Again, we're just looking for you to come out and be a part of our sport, whether it's with your son and daughter or with your family. Come be a part of our world of motorsports. We're going to have some fun in 2021. We hope that you're there to partake. See you next week.